It is the only unsolved skyjacking in the history of commercial aviation. A perfect crime committed mid-flight that has baffled the FBI, amateur sleuths, and treasure hunters for over 50 years. It's a story that sounds like fiction, a polite criminal, a daring mid-air heist, and a vanishing act that defies logic. They call him D.B. Cooper, but nobody knows his real name. Nobody knows where he came from. And, most frustratingly, nobody knows where he went. Did he pull off the impossible escape, or did he jump to a frozen death in the wilderness? Today, we open the files on America's greatest aviation mystery. The legend begins on Thanksgiving Eve, November 24th, 1971. Portland International Airport. The mood was festive, busy with holiday travelers. A man approached the Northwest Orient Airlines counter. He was nondescript mid-40s, wearing a dark suit, a black trench coat, and loafers. He bought a one-way ticket on Flight 305 bound for Seattle. He gave his name as Don Cooper. The press would later mistakenly add the B, a moniker that stuck. He paid $20 in cash and boarded the Boeing 727. He took seat 18C in the rear of the plane. He ordered a bourbon and soda and lit a cigarette. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a folded note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Florence, used to flirtatious businessmen, just dropped it in her purse unread. Cooper leaned toward her and whispered calmly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Florence read the note. It was precise. He demanded $200,000 in $20 bills, and for parachutes due primary and two reserves. He wanted a fuel truck standing by in Seattle. To prove he wasn't bluffing, he opened his briefcase just enough for her to see red cylinders and wires. The pilots relayed the demands to air traffic control. The FBI was immediately notified. The president of Northwest Orient Airlines made the call. Pay the man. The priority was the safety of the 36 passengers, who had no idea they were being hijacked. They were told the plane was just circling due to a minor mechanical difficulty. When Tegeron, the FBI, scrambled, they secured the money from a Seattle bank, documenting the serial numbers of every bill. They also sourced the 4 parachutes from a local skydiving school. Why 4 chutes? The FBI worried Cooper intended to force flight attendants to jump with him, ensuring the police wouldn't sabotage the gear. At 5:39 p.m., Flight 305 landed in Seattle. The exchange began. The money bag and parachutes were delivered. In return, Cooper, true to his word, released all the passengers and 2 of the flight attendants. Throughout the ordeal, the remaining crew described Cooper as oddly gentlemanly. He wasn't frantic. It was polite, even ordering a second bourbon and insisting the flight crew get meals delivered during the stopover. Around 7:40 p.m., the 727 took off again, heading south toward Mexico City. On board were only 4 people: the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and D.B. Cooper. Cooper gave very specific flight instructions. They were to fly low, under 10,000 feet. The landing gear must remain down. The wing flaps set at 15 degrees to keep the speed slow under 200 knots. And crucially, the cabin was to remain unpressurized. He chose the Boeing 727 for a specific reason. It was one of the few commercial jets equipped with aft air stairs, a staircase in the tail that could be lowered mid-flight. Alone in the cabin, Cooper strapped the money bag to himself. He put on one of the parachutes. Around 8 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit indicating the rear door had been opened. The pilots asked over the intercom if there was anything he needed. Cooper's last word was a calm no. At approximately 8:13 p.m., somewhere over the dense, freezing forests of southwestern Washington state, amidst a heavy rainstorm, D.B. Cooper jumped into the blackness. When the plane landed in Reno, hours later, he was gone. The manhunt was massive, one of the largest in U.S. history. The FBI scoured the projected landing zone. They used soldiers, helicopters, and tracking dogs. They found nothing. No parachute. No body. No money bag. He left behind only 2 things on the plane: 8 cigarette butts, which were tragically lost by law enforcement before. DNA testing existed, and his black clip-on tie. In recent years, scientists found particles of rare metals, like titanium, on the tie, suggesting Cooper might have worked in the aerospace or chemical industry, perhaps a disgruntled Boeing employee. The trail went entirely cold for 9 years. Then, in 1980. A young boy digging a fire pit on the banks of the Columbia River found 3 bundles of rotting cash. It was $5,800. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. This discovery only deepened the mystery. The money was miles from the calculated jump zone. Did it wash downriver? If so, where was the rest of it? The FBI officially suspended the active investigation in 2016. They believe Cooper likely didn't survive the jump. He jumped at night, in the rain, into tall trees, wearing loafers and a trench coat, using a parachute he couldn't steer. But without a body, the legend thrives. Did he die on impact, his bones consumed by the forest? Or did they land, bury the money, and walk away to live a quiet life, forever chuckling at having committed the perfect crime? What do you think happened to the man in seat 18C? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more unsolved histories.